What was the very first silent film I ever saw? ... The Lost World, the 1925 marvel of a classic. This was surprisingly entertaining. The plot: with the news of dinosaurs living on a plateau in the Amazon, Professor Challenger, played by Wallace Beery, is the only survivor of the expedition that went into those jungles and found the prehistoric beasts. Professor Challenger challenges a room full of people to see who's willing to accompany him back into the dense Amazon to find definitive proof of these mighty creatures that are supposedly not extinct anymore. Though there are other reasons to go on this expedition too, like Bessie Loves' character, played by Paula White's father, who went with Challenger and is supposedly still alive somewhere in the jungle. A team is assembled, and almost immediately after they make it to the plateau, they lay witness to a pterodactyl feasting on a toxodon. From there, they encounter more and more dinosaurs, and this lost world will become even more dangerous as they trek on. This is an immensely important movie in the history of film. However, it does have some flaws that can be overlooked. For instance, did you see the rock they have to climb to get to the plateau? It was structured in a way that I don't think was possible for any of them to have access to the top. After that being the major one, though, the film is incredibly enjoyable. Even the scene with Professor Challenger challenging the room full of people to see if they'd go back there with him was engaging, and I loved Wallace Beery's performance. He had this mystique about him, and his shifty eyebrows really made you see that the wheels in his head were turning. Sir John Roxton, played by Lewis Stone, was the big game hunter, and a pretty layered one at that. He went on the mission to rescue Paula's father for Paula. There's a little scene between them, but he soon realizes that Paula is in love with someone else. And that someone else is the idiot known as Edward Malone, played by Lloyd Hughes. Malone is only doing this to prove to his lover that he can stare danger in the face and accept it vigorously. He eventually falls for Paula, but he is still quite an idiot. There's also a character in blackface, which was quite hilariously racist. Still, I was actually surprised that his character made it as far as he did. Does he live or does he die? Watch and find out. Bessie Love can act. She can't really talk to us, so she conveys how she feels by her expressions. Very well, might I add. Her character of Paula White is one who's in distress, but she isn't turned down from any challenge. I was actually kind of shocked that there were not any qualms or objections to her going on the trip. There are an abundance of sets that are very convincing. Sometimes I couldn't tell there were any fake sets in the movie. That is, until I looked it up and found out that it was all fake. It was filmed in California and New York. Still, the stages are amazing spectacles. As the dawn rises, we feel the warm embrace of the sun. And as the moon fills the sky, we get a sense of eeriness. What could be lurking out there? Or more appropriately put, what lurked behind the stage. The gore, the effects. Yes, there's quite a bit of blood in this movie, and I was surprised. We get flesh ripping. A triceratops guts another dinosaur in a very bloody fashion. And all the dinosaur attacks and gunshot wounds show an explicit amount of blood. The effects by Willis O'Brien, I want to say, are evolving throughout the movie. They start off decent, and there's a great use of split screen, but by the end he manages to have convincing enough stop animation dinosaurs melded together with footage of people running. It is absolutely a visual marvel. The musical score, it doesn't always fit, but sometimes it's highly effective. Music plays a huge part in silent films because they convey a scene of tension or drama without having any dialogue being presented. So to have it not fit all the time does make it quite the detriment. You know, I had a fun time with this movie. It's an hour and 43 minutes, unlike the 110 minutes it claims to be on the back. It's never overstayed its welcome. It was prolonged, but in an entertaining way. I'd gladly watch this movie again. Overall, I give The Lost World a 3.5 out of 5. This is the definitive version. It's also the most complete. It also features short films like 10,000 BC from 1917, The Ghost of Slumber Mountain from 1918, Creation, the unfinished movie from 1930, and plenty of other special features. Definitely purchase this if you want to see this movie. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and leave comments and subscribe.